Hey everybody. So I don't know about y'all, but I am about sick of hearing about the coronavirus. The media have just whipped folks up into a frenzy to the point that people are afraid to leave their houses, and it's just caused mass hysteria. And I'm just looking at everything around me and watching like the result of this fear and anxiety that the media have created. And it is causing a lot of chaos. We could very well go into another recession because of this mass hysteria. And I blame the media for it. I absolutely blame the media for it. Now, you might know that the coronavirus pretty much originated, where the first cases originated in the Wuhan province of China, where a doctor, an ophthalmologist, by the way, he tried to warn people in December about this virus. And then he was trying to tell people, be careful. And he was trying to basically sound the alarm. But you have to remember, China is a communist country, so they try to control everything. So when he was trying to warn people, he was warning his fellow doctors, like, listen, this is virus going around. You need to be very, very careful. China shut him down, and they told him to stop spreading rumors and stop lying and making false statements. And they basically made him sign a paper saying that he was a liar and that he was making accusations. And that doctor who sounded the alarm and was trying to warn people that this was going to get out of hand died at the end of January. All right. He was in his 30s. He wasn't even an older guy. He died in his 30s. And so China in that Wuhan province area was hit pretty hard by this. And because this man was not allowed to tell or warn people, was attempting to warn people, they couldn't contain it. Those people that were over there in that area, some people that didn't even realize that they had this thing, started to travel and they moved around, right? And they started to basically take the virus elsewhere. And because it's supposedly highly contagious, it started to spread all over the world, which made it a pandemic. And so here we are. But when I was looking at the data for here in the United States, if you look here, even though I think over 900 people have contracted it here, the death rate is still technically low. It's 29 as of yesterday. I got this from the CDC information. The death rate is 29 here in the United States. So if you look here, you are more likely to die from anything else on this list than you are the coronavirus, which in my estimation still makes people like, okay, it's much ado about nothing, because I feel like we've been here before. We've heard when the H1N1, the West Nile virus, Zika, Ebola, SARS. Have you heard about any of those? And remember the mass hysteria that was following those. Now, I don't think that the hysteria was as crazy as it is now with the coronavirus, but they were still sounding an alarm about that. And then all of a sudden it just went away and you ain't heard shit else about the viruses. I remember when the Zika, I believe, was the one that was affecting pregnant women and their babies were being born with smaller heads. You remember when people was like, oh my God, the Zika. You ain't heard shit else about the Zika. And the coronavirus, I believe at some point you're not going to hear much more about that. Something else is going to come along, knock it off the front pages, and people will have gone about their business. Okay. It's gotten so bad to now that, the country is now reacting to it out of fear and anxiety. You have Coachella, who has been canceled. Actually, they didn't cancel it. They just rescheduled it to October. South by Southwest, which is a huge festival, they've canceled that altogether, and they are not refunding people their money. And you know, South by Southwest has become a huge festival. There's a couple of festivals that basically is like, listen, we're just not doing this. You're not getting your money back. The Wendy Williams show, she made the decision that she's not going to have a studio audience. So she's going to just be sitting there talking to herself. The NBA is kind of going back and forth as to whether or not they're going to have people in the stands. Wheel of Fortune Jeopardy will not tape with the studio audience. It's just getting crazy. Okay. Now, NCAA has decided they are going to go ahead and go with their fans, their crowds and stuff. Italy has shut down. Italy has said, everybody stay in their houses. Don't come out. All the stores, everything, everybody has just shut down, and you stay in your damn house. Now, Harvard also has decided to shut down and go to online classes. All right. So, with Italy, even though they've pretty much told everybody stay your asses at home, they have done the right thing by saying, because we know our citizens cannot work. So if they can't work and they cannot go out, they can't make money, we're suspending mortgage payments. Now, you know, the U.S. would never, ever do that, right? Lord, I see what you're doing for others over in Italy, but yes, the U.S. would never do that. We know. But going back to Harvard and other universities that are deciding to shut their doors, they're basically telling their kids, listen, you got a few days to pack your shit and go home, wherever home is. And it doesn't matter if you don't have any money to get there. You have to leave here. And we're going to go to online classes starting in a couple of weeks. And that's what we're going to do. And, you know, like I said, this is all a part of mass hysteria. And I suspect that some school districts will also do it. I believe in New Rochelle, that's in New York. I believe that they are also trying to make the decision or they made the decision to close schools up there. It's just getting crazy and it's getting out of hand. And I'm just like, this has just become too much. This has just become a lot. It's a lot. So this is a map here of the global cases here. And if you notice, the hot spots seem to be Europe and, of course, Asia over there, the Wuhan province, China in that area. There's a few cases here, of course, in the United States. Africa seems to be relatively low. And South America has a few little spots here and there. But you may notice that up in like Russia, that Russia area up there, they don't really have any cases. So, you know, you have to wonder, is it something with the cold? I don't know. There's still a lot that they don't know about this particular disease, because, again, when the man in China tried to tell everybody and warn everybody about this, they shut him down. So by the time people started to wake up about this, it was too late. It was just too late. Now, Taiwan, which is 81 miles from the mainland of China, they have a relatively low caseload. They have a lot of people aren't actually getting sick, and what they've found out and what they concluded is that if we isolate us, we don't let people in and out, we close our border, we don't let anybody in, we don't let anybody out, we quarantine people, we can actually keep this thing very low. They figured that out early. And so they actually, with 23 million people, they only have a few cases of it. A few cases of it. And see, the United States was behind the ball because you had Donald Trump, who was basically saying, oh, it's a hoax, it's a hoax, it's a hoax, which I don't necessarily think that's the right wording. Now, I'm with him on, it's hard for me to ever agree with him on anything. I was with him as far as the media is whipping this up, because he was technically saying something like that. But as far as it being a hoax, I don't necessarily believe it's a hoax. I don't. I believe that the media has certainly got people all crazy and scared, but I don't necessarily think that it's not a true virus or disease. I look at it and I say to myself, well, based on the symptoms, which are like fever, fatigue, dry cough, shortness of breath, muscle aches, it sounds to me like the flu. When I posed that, out there on Facebook to my friend, my cousin was like, no, it's like 10 times deadlier than the flu. It's worse than the flu. And I'm like, 10 times deadlier than the flu. That's not true, because the flu kill about between 8 and 15,000 people a year. So that can't possibly be true if the flu, as we know, killed 8 to about 15,000 people in a year. And so far, the coronavirus has killed 29. It cannot be deadlier. That just doesn't even make sense. It might be far more contagious, but as far as deaths, no, that's not true. Now, what people seem to be dying of when it comes to this coronavirus is the respiratory failure, because it seems to affect the lungs, right? And people are dying from the respiratory failure. But when you break down the deaths that have occurred here in the United States, it seems to be these were already vulnerable populations. So the people that have been dying are elderly people. People are more likely to die if you are already compromised. That means you're elderly. You may already have some respiratory things going on, like maybe like an asthmatic or something like that. But for the most part, the people that have been hit critically are the elderly. In Washington State, a nursing home is getting hit pretty bad. And so when they break down the statistics of the people that are getting it, 5% have gotten critically ill, 14% have developed severe symptoms, and 81% has developed mild symptoms. So most people right now here in the United States that have the coronavirus have developed mild symptoms, which means a lot of people that have it or had it were already on the mend before they were even tested. And so that's why they can't contain it the way they want to contain it, because by the time, and remember, the tests have been slow. They've been slow to get tests to like the hospitals all, in the United States and clinics and things like that, because they've been so slow to act, the government, because again, Donald Trump saying this is a hoax and he's moving slow. Everybody else is moving slow and they can't keep up with it. And so, in my opinion, by the time people have figured out what's going on, most people that may have had it are already on the mend. But the other side to that is people that have already had it, been out among other people, and they've spread it. Right? So it's just one of those things that they haven't been able to contain it here in the United States. But in my opinion, the good news is that because unless you have a compromised system already, most people recover from it. No different than the flu. That's why I'm just not going to be here like, oh my gosh, the coronavirus is coming to get us. Because in my opinion, it just sounds like maybe a stronger strain of flu, which again, the flu kills a lot of people, right? And hopefully people would just protect themselves as if they were with the flu. Now, I was a teacher for years. I'm still in education, but I used to teach first and second grade. And so because I taught the younger ones, who, by the way, are very, very nasty. I mean, I'm talking about, I have been sneezed in my face, like the liquid on my face. I've been coughed on. I have been touched like with, I don't want to gross y'all out, but I'm just telling you, I've seen boogers. I disinfect the tables and stuff every day, several times. Like after school, I would have I just had to do a lot of that. The janitors would do that, but I'm just telling you, this shit don't scare me simply because I feel like shit. If I can survive a first and second grader coughing in my face, and because I taught so long, I've pretty much built up an immunity to that. I used to get maybe one major sickness every year, like where even if I had the flu shot or whatever, I still would get really, really, really sick. And that's just how, but as the years have progressed, I don't seem to get as sick as I used to, but I have asthma. So I understand that I'm compromised so when I've gotten the flu, I get down pretty bad. But even in that, like I said, I recover well, and even with all of that, I'm still not scared of this coronavirus. I'm just not that worried about it. And you know what's funny to me? All these folks out here scared of the coronavirus. Scared. They staying in their houses, they ain't going nowhere. And yet, these are the same folks that will go out there and have unprotected sex. They scared of coronavirus, but they ain't scared of no damn STDs and STIs. That's just interesting to me that people all scared and shit and stand in their house and all this other stuff. And they don't know why they want to come outside and they want to close the schools and they don't want to go anywhere and they're walking around with masks. I'm like, I wish I would walk around with condoms and be as careful about that. And another thing is, people fighting over toilet paper and hand sanitizer, and there's long lines at the, just like in soap and in different stores that they was running out of hand soap. Like, y'all motherfuckers is just learning to wash y'all hands. Y'all just washing your hands now. You are just literally starting to wash your hands because of the coronavirus. Are you kidding me? That scares me worse, because there are people out here that's literally going to the bathroom or doing whatever and not washing their hands. That's disgusting. And so if I don't get, I guess if nothing else comes from this mass hysteria of here, maybe people are actually starting to actually wash their hands and be a little bit more careful about how they move. But honestly, I'm just kind of sick of it. And I hate the mass hysteria that it's causing. We can very well go into a recession because, people are losing money. And to be honest with you, as sad as that is this probably would be a good time, y'all. I'm just kind of giving y'all a tip. This probably would be a good time to go and buy yourself some stocks while they are like at rock bottom prices, because eventually this will go away. People will go back to their normal lives and the stocks will go back up. So this probably would be a good time to go and buy yourself some Nike stocks, some Amazon, something. Go buy yourself some stock. I mean, people are already going crazy right now. You might as well go ahead and, look into it and take advantage of what's going on here, because even though things are low, they're going to go back to normal at one point or another. They are. Like, I'm just not going to sit here and worry myself from no damn coronavirus when I know that the flu kills way more people. And I'm going to do what I would do all the time, which is, I just protect myself. I mean, yeah, it's gotten to a point now where people are afraid to even cough in public because it's like, oh my God, oh, this person's coughing. Well, they were coughing prior to that. But like I said, because the media has scared people, now everybody think that people walking around with the coronavirus. And I just don't necessarily think that's the case. I mean, and I don't know. I just don't like the mass hysteria that it's causing, simply because I feel like every few years we are doing this. Every few years. I don't know, but let me know what you guys are doing out here. Are y'all staying in the house? Is your community, your town, shutting down? Do you get to stay home from work? I mean, I probably would kind of like that. If I can get paid, I'll stay home if I can still get paid. But, I don't know. I just think it's causing a lot of hysteria and whipping people up into this frenzy. And I think that they'll be on to something new in a few weeks, and people's lives would have been ruined by it because of all the mass hysteria that is causing. But that's just me. That's how I feel about it. I'm not saying that it's not real. I'm not calling it a hoax, but I do think that it is not as crazy as people are making it. But the media is to blame for that. They are. And that's just my take on it. And that's how I feel about it. Just do what you would always do in the case of anything else. Wash your hands. Shit. Just wash your hands, y'all. All right? And if you're sick, stay home. That's what I would tell people to do if they had the flu or cold. Just stay home. If you had those symptoms, stay your ass at home. All right? And that's all I have to say about that. I'll see you guys on the next video. Like, comment, and subscribe, and support the channel. And I'll see you guys next time. Stay healthy out there, y'all. Take care.